What's track 4? I'm dying to know.
Do we even need a track?
Oh,
four? I mean, is it-
Green Hell.
Green
And
Hell, which
this
was
is Leary.
Leary, yeah.
I know this one.
Yeah.
Because at the end of this is the one thing I remember about recording this song with Leary.
Yeah.
At the end, there's a distortion guitar ending
Yes.
where it's
there is.
finger picking.
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
And I get done with that, and I think it's like maybe like take 2 or 3.
Ooh, check
Okay,
it
but I just did that. I just turned on the distortion just for that one take.
Yeah.
And he's like, "God damn it! What was that?
What was
what was that? What was that?"
Hey,
I don't know. I just kind of took a liberty. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you did.
Yeah, you do. Guys,
And that's it. You're done. You're
Yeah.
done for. I want you out of the studio.
Yeah.
You're not going to do anything better than that tonight.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And you were gone.
Yeah.
You were
That
fucking
was
hired, not
right.
fired.
It was so again. It was just fun.
And for the people
Mrs.
listening,
Mr.
if
Esther
you don't,
House.
you don't have the privilege probably of knowing Paul Leary, but he's dead serious. We're not like embellish. I wish that we could say that we were because we embellish so much, but not with Paul Leary. To this day, he shows up in our green room randomly in Texas and in places.
In Austin.
with just bottles of champagne,
Yeah.
famous people.
Yeah.
And he reminds us that he has pepper tattoos on his body.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is a legend from the Butthole Surfers.
Thank you.
And he's as authentic as a human being
Yep.
as you're ever going to. So just know that that's
Yes.
not bullshit.
Yeah.
He
No.
made us
Yes,
feel
yes,
good.
yes.
Either that or he's the best actor in the universe.
Yeah. No,
he's
but,
the
but
best.
talk about getting the best out of us
Yeah.
was done so well
Yeah.
by Hex and Leary.
Oh my
during
God.
That whole
Oh, yeah.
process.
And the 1-2 punch of you're getting two kinds of good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? You're hanging out with two kinds of good. And they didn't know. These are separate kind of sessions, right? So we had some time. And remember, we got a budget.
Yep.
We'd have to cram this in fucking 2
No,
weeks.
no, we got time.
Different studios,
Yep.
different producers.
And let's have fun.
And have fun.
The whole time. Let's spend
Yeah.
all this Atlantic sushi money.
Yep.
Sure, we'll take the Lambo, whatever you want. You know, just that vibe. Ironically, though, my question is, how did we pick the songs per producer? Like, did they get? Because I remember Hexam style. I don't remember how Paul picked, but Hexam, I remember
that's a good question.
I sent in whatever demos that I had to go with the rest of our demos, and I remember Hex being real clear early on
About which ones he wanted.
and how he was going to do it, and
Yep.
what order they were going to go in on the radio.
Yeah.
Got it.
He was like, because he just
Strategic.
He just
Yeah.
got done doing From Chaos, right? Amber, would that have Love Song on it too? Or,
Yeah.
No, that was
Well, Love Song was 04.
Yeah, but that was only on First
oh,
Dates,
that's right.
what was the
51st
one?
State soundtrack.
Their lead single. From Chaos. Is
Head
that
full
called?
of ideas.
Yeah. Dude, I love that song.
That you wouldn't believe.
They play that all the time on the Warped Tour. Same time we were on the Warped Tour. Warped Tour, here you go again, Kevin Lyman.
I remember Green Hell, going back to the track.
Yeah.
I remember Green Hell being one of the older ones. Like, we have been jamming that for a minute.
That's the first Pepper song I remember writing. Is like, Yee's here, we're Pepper.
Right. So we had
the very,
that
very,
one-
very, very first song that I was like, it's not. Remember, we had those notebooks of like
Oh, yeah.
crazy rook shit. Most
yeah.
things you writing in because I can't write very good, but like drawings, painting, pictures, all that kind of shit. This was like a new tablet I remember, and it was like page 1, Green Hell from a million years ago.
Right.
So how is it on our 4th album?
Sometimes it takes that long to brew. you know?
Yeah, it really changed a lot. Good job.
And is that one
But
that
that's-
we?
Yeah.
So, no, go ahead.
No, but that's not really what the brew is about.
No.
The brew is about to actually arrive to a position where you're playing it.
Right.
Because you may have made it too early, and it needed time for you to like work emotionally to present it.
Right.
And we recorded that with down south, 15, Sean, Travis, long hair.
Thomas.
Also did
Thomas.
Stormtrooper. Thomas.
Thomas, yep.
Yes.
At
In the
Big
Bird-
Rock or
Big Rock?
Big Bird Rock, big something like
Big,
that.
I think Big Rock.
Big Rock, okay.
Yeah.
Because there's all the
there were
big.
rocks
Yeah,
around
yeah,
there.
makes
Like,
sense.
hey,
That makes sense.
Hey, solve that case. Closed.
No, but
We did a song. We did the Nate Dogg version of that song.
Yes,
and I
didn't
remember
we do-
loving it. But then we just did Conatown, and we're like,
I
fuck
think
this song.
we got real weird with it, where we're like, we need to get. It needs to be more progressive. This song. Of
course
So
it
didn't we
does.
do a couple weird versions, and then went back to Leary, and Leary's like, he heard the like original demo,
Oh,
which
here we
was
go.
like what it is now, and he was like, "What are you guys doing? You don't need to make it all weird."
Again.
There he goes.
like let's just go back to what the
Back to
demo's
the future.
Yeah.
it's almost like they unproduced us.
Yeah.
There you
In
go.
a way,
That's kind
right.
of interesting.
Yeah.
Because I pretty much remember that we went through like 2 or 3 versions of Green Hell, and one
least-
was like real jazzy or something.
my
like there's a lot of swoops in it and like a bunch of weird shit.
Yeah, I could see us absolutely overdoing
and
that.
Then Leary was like, no, look, you guys already got it.
Yeah.
Just go and unproduce.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah,
Let's
he just
another-
unproduced us and
What a guy. Comes
Yeah.
all the way through history of those hit musics. He's like, takes one of the oldest songs we got.
Yeah.
For sure, the oldest song I had for Pepper of that era. And go back to the beginning of that. Sometimes you got to unproduce it. That's interesting.
And then also police driven.
Yes.
Yeah, that track
on
to
that
me
guy
is
too?
that track is police driven to me for sure.
It's funny. I can't think about it right now, like how it sounds on the record, a lot of these songs. But I know how we play them live because
Yep.
then we just play that live.
Yeah,
acoustic.
we just did it.
Yeah. A couple
Like
times this last tour.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow. So Green Hell comes up at 4?
That was 5, I think. Hold on.
That's wild.
1, 2, 3. No, 4. You're right.
Okay.
And then 5 is Lost in America.
Oh, okay. So this is your writing debut.
Yeah, for the music part.
Yeah, for the music
And
part.
then we all.
Is this one of your demos?
I
Yeah,
think
this
so.
is- this
You had a bunch
you.
of demos. There
Yeah.
was, I think it's this
Again, very Chili Peppers
Yeah.
derived.
one. Well,
Yeah.
consider the timing.
Right,
And
exactly,
then-
right?
Yeah, Slane Castle.
Slaying Castle again.
Yeah, and Leary was all fired up on the music, and
Yeah.
then we got together and did like not a panicked survival version of
No, not no.
Keep Your Head Banging, but was all about
Yeah.
like being on the road, blah.
Right,
fucking-
right.
Well, we kind of
Little
jumped
Baby.
in.
Little Baby Asa.
We jumped in on your track and
Yeah.
kind of like sketched out the
Yep.
funniest parts that we could remember.
Yeah.
Almost kind of like what we're doing now,
Yeah.
but of like the road elements of that time.
Yeah,
Right?
Or was Lost in America the hook? Did we already?
I think
have that?
I think you had that.
Okay.
I think you and we filled out the verses.
Okay.
With
Yeah,
just like, so what are we going to sing about? How about everything we
I
know?
think I remember
Yeah.
him screaming "Lost in America," and we're like,
yeah.
And
which is
then-
what it felt like. It kind of encapsulated. It was a good way.
No, it was, and especially we'd been touring so much at that point.
Oh my
You know what it
Like,
felt
'cause
like?
that was like
Yeah.
that 2005 to like 2008, 2004
Oh my
to
God.
2008 was like that.
Right.
Like we were talking about in the last episode, doing like basically 300 shows a year.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
all you can eat shrimp.
Yeah.
Of that. No,
And-
you're right. But that was kind of like
Piss
a war
bottles.
cry.
Yeah.
Piss bottles.
You know, like all those
Piss
things.
bottles,
Everything.
Sushi on Hudson.
Sushi on Hudson.
Critical.
Yeah.
Right.
Critical.
All
Yeah.
these little antidotes that are like one line pure truth.
Yeah.
Kind of like a modern, how we had to, by the time we ended that tour, we had to blow out of town. This was like, we're
Yeah.
just not blowing out of town. We're lost in America.
Yeah.
We can't,
Yes.
we
Yes.
can't get out. I remember there was a long time where we all couldn't get back to Kona for like the longest that we'd ever been.
The scheduling
Yeah.
was nuts.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah.
there like an ad mat of like just America on a map?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the three of us like
Yeah.
wearing sweaters like, oh God.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the powers that be were sending us out there in like January.
We were slaves, to,
February,
that, slaves to that
March.
machine for a
Right.
second.
Yeah, well, it was like I noticed on this last tour when I saw it when we were in Corpus Christi, and I was like, oh my God, 2007, we did 3 U.S. tours in 2007 alone, and one of them was Warped Tour.
Yep. And we did Europe with Mad Caddies.
We did.
yeah.
This is Pepper, guys. We said
Yeah.
250 shows, bro.
So that was Lost in America, another Leary track. So
Yeah.
so far we've got Hex, and now 2 Leary tracks, Green Hell and Lost in
Wait,
America.
no,
Wait.
because
No.
Rent is Tony.
That's
Oh, Tony, I'm sorry.
Hex,
Right.
Tony.
So Hex, Tony, Hex.
No.
Hex,
Tony.
Tony,
Paul,
Leary.
Leary. Oh, so we only have 1 Hex track so far.
Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
And after Lost in America, where are we at?
Ufa Point skit.
Okay, yeah.
So
This is you and Coach's finest work.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I
yeah.
remember we were all, didn't we have we had the skit idea strong from before we even started like pre-production. We were
Oh.
like, we're putting skits in this next record.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep in
right,
mind,
right.
we- like-
Because of and this is the one that
Yeah,
hit us.
yeah.
Because we remembered Wyclef,
Yes.
the carnival.
Oh yes.
So
Where
many
it was
skits.
like, oh my gosh, like every third song has a skit about this court hearing.
Thank you for bringing that
the
up.
concept. And so we're just like, you know what? We want to do this because this
Yeah.
is now a real album.
yeah.
Exactly. But bite-sized skits, because we
Right.
learned our lesson from a 15-minute skit in between your hit song or whatever.
And we made sure,
or however long it was. It was an epilogue. What was it?
when we made sure to I remember our genius idea. We're like, we make the skits their own tracks.
Yes.
And then we
And
don't run
nobody
into
had
the
the
give it up
balls to do
problem
that.
again.
Boom.
That's how perturbed we were.
Yeah.
We'll never do a skit
Yep.
inside of a song.
Yeah.
Yes.
You make the skit the song.
You make the skit its own song.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
The jury. No, the carnival is God. Carnival is as important as watching Slane Castle, I think.
Oh yeah, same.
From the skits
Same.
to the tits. That was absolutely such a banger
One of the
album.
such a like top to bottom.
But we learned, and Ufa Point, bruh.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we're almost
Which is based off of a real place in Kona.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So we were
Called-
starting to come full circle, boy.
Yeah.
Because you get your superior Hawaiian tracks like "Bring Me Along."
Yep.
But so a good combo, like we said, new and old.
Yeah.
Feeling loose.
I think we're
shoot 'em
I
out.
think we're confidently becoming Pepper in this moment.
There you go.
Yes.
Jesus, write that down.
And as
Somebody write
funny
that
as
down.
it sounds, that's actually was a brilliant idea. No, we make the skits their own track.
Oh, absolutely.
They're not
Hey,
going to get in
right.
the way.
We were becoming Pepper. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. You thought you were before. You weren't.
Yes.
Now you're Pepper.
Yeah.
So
As
Ufa
skits.
Point
Yeah.
being a real place
Oh yeah. On every
where we
island.
grew up with,
In every town.
not only on our island, but on every island in every town. It's where you go, at the time of the record, we were becoming Pepper, but that is where people come into their own themselves.
Exactly.
Ufa Point, Ufa
You guys-
Point
and we were
boy.
definitely coming into
Yeah.
our shelves.
Yeah.
And into other
Coming
guys'
into
shelves.
someone else too.
Hey, a lot of guys' shelves is up there. Yeah, we were.
So,
Wow.
so it was some of Brett and Coach's best work.
Oh, to
What?
this
I-
day.
Some of our finest lighting
Yeah.
and so fresh. Coach, the personality of Coach was larger than life. Our tour manager,
Yeah.
who had sacrificed a lot, including his liver, for come out and teach Pepper the ropes. A lot of good, a lot of naughty stuff too.
Yeah.
But learning and burning. And we brought him up there. He was such a personality. He was a big part of the live show too because Coach had his own stickers. Coach had his own
and
merch.
he would do the intro.
Yeah,
right?
he
Or
would
be-
do Pepper's intro. He would come
Yeah.
out and rap on songs.
He would blow fireballs at one-
Oh my God! Yes, bruh.
Coach became almost the next secret member of Pepper too.
Bruh, honestly, it takes a village, right?
It takes a village, and this village was awesome because it was reenacting something that we had always looked forward to as kids, going to Ufa Point, scoring. You've seen it in every movie, you've seen whatever. About time to get to Ufa Point. But we did a little twist on this one because Coach was picking up one masculine kind chick who liked her beverages like with straws.
Yeah.
Not typical, like you don't normally have one.
Here you go.
What kind
Here's
wine
your
you get?
straw.
Exactly. Who drinks red wine with a straw? Well,
one
this
mom
kind
would
girl.
find.
And she wasn't the first girl you would pick up from the Pepper Show. She might have been the last girl. She might have been a strong girl, but you know what? She was ready for hang. So take her to Ufa Point.
But Ufa Point, it's like let everyone know this is a place.
Yeah.
In Kona.
This
Yeah.
is where
This
you
is
go.
KO.
This
Yeah.
is where you go.
Yeah.
Just literally, guys, young, old, first kiss, latest kiss,
Yeah.
kissing somebody you shouldn't be kissing,
All of it,
whoever.
Ufa
Yeah.
Point.
And after, and I love how she alludes to bus call also.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
What
yeah.
is bus call? Because that's the ultimate cutoff.
Zip.
That's no, I forgot about that. That's when Cinderella turns you into the pumpkin. Bus call, you gotta go. But you can fit in a lot of fun from your last note on stage. Good night, we love you, Cleveland. To Zip.
Bruh.
Where did we record all the skits with Leary?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, or
I don't know. Coach was up at the Hive a lot too. Remember a lot of filming.
I could see us doing it more at Total Access than
Right.
than
Too,
the
actually.
Hive.
Then the Hive. Yeah, I would think so. too.
Yeah.
But I remember those.
I
were
could see
good-
Leary being a little more energetic about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Unless we did it on our own.
That doesn't
No,
sound right.
no.
I think
Yeah, we just carved out some time to.
Yeah.
And by the way, all the skits were like so fast.
Yeah,
And guess who produced those? Pepper did.
Yeah.
Some of our best performances. Early
Which,
production.
okay, so I'm thinking of what I think the next song is.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
But I'm not sure. So what is the actual?
Your face.
Oh no.
Oh no, I
I was gonna say point and shoot.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So your face.
I wonder what skit.
Okay.
around
Remember,
there.
I was talking about the no control situation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Simultaneously, and I think this is where things went bad. They spun No Control. And
Oh, yeah.
They were
Yep.
pushing No Control. And then all of a sudden, K-Rock
Yes.
starts pushing Your Face.
Yes.
And
That is
now,
what happened.
And
Oh
now
my
we
gosh.
have a divide, not conquer situation.
Yeah.
No.
Because if all the energy was put into one single and then the next,
Yeah.
we would have had a much longer run on the No Shame album.
But also, I think part of this was the bit of the snafu was that Flom either got canned or left, and they dissolved Lava into Atlantic.
Oh my God, I
But little
forgot
Greggy
about that.
Nadell, who was our A&R guy,
Uh-huh.
stayed on. So that's why we got lateraled onto
I see.
Atlantic.
Wow.
But I think there was a little like loss of like control in a sense,
Oh,
where it's like
right.
if
Like
it would have
it.
been Lava the whole time,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think they would have been like, no, like don't push Your Face
No,
yet.
Yep.
Keep
yeah.
pushing No Control, and
Right.
then we'll do that afterwards.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Where I think there was just a little like
power
like the
battle.
hands,
Huh.
yeah,
Little
and the
power
hands
battle.
left the wheel for a second because Flom was gone.
Yeah.
and Lava got dissolved into Atlantic. So there was like a little.
I
like,
remember panic around
This
that
is
with
this
management.
is good to know
Yeah,
for me.
No.
yeah.
That it wasn't some cockamamie idea.
Yeah,
my
no, it was
gosh.
more just
Okay.
like we got like lost in some like inertia of
Yeah.
the Lava being dissolved into Atlantic.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So
That's
I think
pretty
part of
wild.
that.
I forgot
So the
that happened.
of course, miscommunication made this happen.
Yeah,
All right.
something, or there just wasn't anyone like driving the ship
Yep.
at that point.
Yeah.
to be like, no, don't play this yet.
Right.
keep playing
Because
this.
K-Rock wasn't playing us yet, and when they did decide,
Yeah.
they didn't play what we, or at least
Yes,
cohesively,
right. Yes.
whatever the Lava.
No, because No Control was doing really good
Yeah.
nationwide on alternative
Right.
radio,
Yeah.
but K Rock wasn't playing it.
Exactly.
And they were such like a if
They
you know,
were
if
our
you're not
biggest-
on K Rock, you're not going to make it
Right,
on
back in the
alternative
radio days.
Even though we were like, hey, every other alternative station in the whole country is playing it.
Which is probably why K-Rock's like,
But
nah,
K
we're not
Rock
going to
was
do
like,
it.
no.
Or- yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I think in the whole like interim of Lava getting dissolved into Atlantic, K Rock's like, hey, but this Your Face song, I think that's the track on this record. So let's start playing that.
Uh-huh.
But then it led to the confusion.
Ironically,
That's the-
yeah.
ironically on that, here's the thing I remember when I told you that Nick Hexum was like when he picked his deals.
Yeah, because this is a Hex song, right? Hex,
Right.
Hex
yeah,
did
yeah,
the
yeah,
rights.
yeah. So
So
far we
Leary
have
and Hex.
Yes.
Yep.
Leary, exactly, two different producers, but Hexum, ironically, he had a vision. There's a reason this guy's been on the fucking radio forever. He told us when we were up there, he's like, "Here's what you do." Before literally, we're getting dissolved and
Yeah.
the label's collapsing underneath or whatever our deal is.
Yeah.
He goes, "You do Your Face first, then you give him the ballad with Bring Me Along, and then you hit him with Like Your Style." So it was weird that K-Rock, when they do it, they took Your Face, the
Yeah.
single that he had picked
Right.
from the early on. Because remember, we recorded some of the songs with these guys, totally different, some with these guys on an open schedule.
Okay.
And then it's released later. Like you said, our guy who signs us gets fired, which
Yeah.
is wild.
Yeah.
We get thrown to whoever's left. Because I remember we got lateraled.
Yeah, 'cause
like it
the-
wasn't.
yeah, 'cause
we
Lava
weren't nobody's
to Atlanta,
project.
yeah.
He had a plan for Pepper.
Because little Greggy Nadell was there the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
As the A&R guy, but
Yes.
not the head. Because Flom was like the
guy.
He had
guy
the
that-
vision for Pepper,
Yeah.
which is why we signed with him.
Yeah. But it's so funny because kind of jumping ahead track list wise.
Yeah.
Don't you remember forever that record was being kind of held up because the whole time Atlantic's like, we don't hear a single.
Yes.
We don't
Oh,
hear a
yes.
single.
Yes.
Remember this? And
Yes.
it was
Uh-huh.
always every time we'd see the Phillips brothers, I remember like, we're still trying to find that. They can't find the single, like a major label. They don't hear a single yet, quote unquote.
Which, how important is that? That's the
Yeah.
first time we heard it.
So, but it's funny because it wasn't either of those
No,
songs
no.
that Atlantic finally was like, we got a single. It was good enough.
Oh my god.
You remember?
No
and then,
shit.
Yeah. And then I remember finally when they were like, okay, because we're jumping all ahead here, but they sent us back into the studio for the whistle song.
Oh
with
my
the
gosh,
one
yep.
producer guy at
Pop Rocks.
Yeah.
Yep.
With the songwriting session. And then with that other producer guy at Glenwood Studios, I think it was called.
Michael.
Yes. What was his
Patterson?
name? I think you're right.
Okay.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Michael Patterson. So there was another guy that was even injected into the record.
Exactly.
Of the song that didn't make it on the record, but we
How
had to go
funny.
to the studio with him.
I mean, the
Pepper-
hoops. Here's
Yeah.
the other side of the major label.
Yeah.
because it's fun. We're having fun. The album's fun. Freedom.
But what's their slogan? We're not hearing a single,
Yeah,
which is all we ever heard.
Because that's the other side of the coin is like, oh, it's so nice to have more money, more budget, more freedom, this and
More
that.
producers.
But for the label, there's more on the line because they have more money invested.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So they're not going to put shit out until they hear something that is going to make them their money back.
Which Tom Petty already made clear.
So you guys, let me get this
our
straight.
guy doesn't
You hear
singles.
0 singles, but we have 2 different singles on the radio.
Right now.
At the same.
What a mess.
Well, it's
This is
funny
classic Pepper.
because they were like and I remember we were getting so over it because we were like, we don't want to keep flying in New York to work with some songwriters. We don't want to go back into the studios. And I remember the Phillips brothers were like, look, we just need to jump through these hoops.
Yeah.
And once we jump through them all, it might be a ton, it might not be, but we got to get through them all because then the record will come out.
Exactly.
So
But
we were
that
like,
was
okay.
the worst feeling
Yeah, so
was
we were
they
like,
have the
okay.
power to shelf this thing.
Yeah.
One of the worst feelings
Right.
ever was
So we're
walking-
like, okay, fine, we'll do whatever.
And
Whatever
we
it
did.
takes. And
was
we
tough.
did, and then finally I remember it was a song we'd been working on the whole time that Greg Nadell comes at one point and he's like, we finally got a single, boys. Congratulations.
the only one that didn't.
It's good enough. And we're like, the song we've been working on this
Yeah.
whole time?